Aquarius. Welcome to a late winter life path spread that I've just created. It's Raina here, and I started over again because when I was trying to get everything in frame, it just stopped the recording. So I'm going to start all over again. So the first card that I got is supposed to be what is happening to you at the moment in your life. You know, this is your life path update, and we have the Eight of Pentacles, which is a card you can see the person diligent about their work. You may be getting training. You may be getting doing something that is much more where you're putting your effort into it. This is also a great card for money. And I also created a place for, or a spot for the lesson of 2020, maybe the top lesson. And I got the 10 of Wands. So there's a saying that just came into my mind: work smarter, not harder. This is somebody who may have been really burdened with a lot of things. So if this was work related, these life path readings, I think they tend to go into the career area, because usually when people are choosing what to do next, it's going to be that. But, you know, sometimes it can be deciding to stay home with and raise children if you've been a career person. So, I mean, it can be like changing directions, you know, whatever that can be. But anyway, the 10 of Wands is a card of somebody who's really overburdened by something. And so if I had to interpret this for the average person, I might say that if you were in 2020 one of those people who realized that you had been working too hard, you may have gotten some kind of certification or training. Maybe when the shutdown was happening, you were able to get something online, or simply maybe this is for yourself, even starting your own business, but doing a labor of love. That can be what the Eight of Pentacles relates to, and perhaps finding that it is lucrative as well. But I was thinking of this phrase, time poverty, because with the 10 of Wands, if you were working overtime, if you had the kind of job that demanded so much of you that you didn't have a lot of downtime, you may have found that you didn't have to work as hard, and you were able to meet all your financial needs and still have time to yourself. And again, with the shutdown, a lot of people, were able to come off of that hamster wheel and see that there was more to life than that, and that was a distraction, that had kept them from something else that they were trying to do. So in the position of the next couple of months, which takes us into the spring, of course, I am, Northern Hemisphere centric in saying this. We have, well, I'll just say until March, or the astrological new year. So we have the Two of Swords. So this may be a time when there's some important decision that you have to decide upon. And of course, I can't tell you what that is, but whatever this may be, if this resonates with you, if it has something to do with work, remember how it might have felt before about having to do something that was very strenuous or just time-consuming, taking a lot out of your life. If it's deciding between two types of jobs, maybe you've gotten a training and you haven't decided whether you want to quit this, if you're still doing that 10 of Wands type of job, is that, pay attention to how you feel. Don't just brush it off and think that it doesn't mean anything, because it does. Of course it means something. And we should always pay attention to that. But also with the Two of Swords, for instance, if there is some kind of, I see in these other cards, that there can be emotions connected to this. I'm thinking of the Three of Swords. So, um, for instance, with the Eight of Pentacles, when you're doing something and you're putting your all into it, it has nothing to do with anybody else. It's not because you don't want somebody to think that you're lazy or that you are unsuccessful or something along those lines. And sometimes people do things for the wrong reasons because they want to impress somebody or they are trying to prove themselves. But if you're doing something for the love of what you're doing, then everything else disappears. And that's what I'm saying with the Two of Swords. You might be deciding whether or not, the prestige of a job or the money that you're making is more important than the craftsmanship. Maybe you're a carpenter and you have a master's degree and you are proud of your intellect, which Aquarius, it might be very extensive, your intellect. But that's kind of a Capricornian thing, you know. It's funny because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, but it also has a co-ruler of Saturn, the same ruler as Capricorn. So, and some of you may have inner planets in Capricorn or the moon in Capricorn, and that status is always there, that being a man or woman of distinction. And really, the Ten of Wands to me can indicate that even things that are not necessarily that strenuous or time consuming can suck the life out of you if you, or you can feel like you're, you have an uphill battle every day that you have to go to work if you're doing something that you don't really care about. And I think sometimes with the danger of air signs, there's a tendency to try to analyze their way out of things and not really get into the feeling nature. And I don't think it works that way. I think we have to honor our feelings, especially if you're really good at something and you're not using that skill. And I would say even with Pentacles, this could be like craftsmanship, like you're good with your hands. You have that ability to sew or to some crafty things, or I don't know, like I said, being a carpenter, woodwork or something. So what's coming in, I wonder why I didn't have, I picked an additional card. I think I'm going to read this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick a card off the top here for the advice. Okay. Because I don't know why I did it like that. So what is coming in is the Page of Cups. You may get an offer that you can't refuse. This is connected to Pisces, if you can see the fish, and it could be timing with that. Perhaps, of course, your second house is Pisces, and you have a new moon in that area on March 13th. So this is right in that time frame that I was talking about. So if you're, somebody who feels that there's a big decision that's coming up, it might be in that time frame. And again, it could be coming from, it could be something that's appealing to you in a heart-based sort of way. And it's like, what will you choose? And then I have the advice, the Chariot, which is a card that is about being non-dualistic. And in this particular deck, they show these, are they sphinxes? One is black and one is white. That is supposed to represent duality. I've seen the horses. But the point is, if this is a question of travel, like with your work, maybe that's what you're deciding whether or not to relocate. It would certainly suggest that. That's one of the things that it can suggest. But also, not allowing kind of the voices around you or anything around you to drown out your inner voice. So if you have told other people about a particular dilemma that you're in, um, that can they can try to influence you because they have their own agenda. If it's like you moving to a different country, they may say, "Oh, no, 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 don't do that," and try to tell you all the negative things that could happen. But really, if they are honest with themselves, it's because they would miss you and they don't want to have that. So there's kind of a selfish gain there. So for some reason, I don't know. I think I was, because this is a new spread, so I didn't pick the bottom cards the way I should have, but I got this as an outcome card, and and I did pick an additional one because I don't end on cards like the Three of Swords. And I said the outcome is the Three of Swords, and this can be a card of feeling rejected about something, but what I was saying is that also the Chariot can connect to Cancer or something along those lines. There may be something where you were willing to go the extra mile with your company. Maybe you were hoping, and same with the Eight of Pentacles, perhaps that training was in the hopes that you would get a certain position. Now, with the Three of Swords, that might be something that eludes you. And I don't know if the Page of Cups to me seems like something new that is coming about. So perhaps you were trying to get a promotion at your current position, but still were looking elsewhere just in case. And I picked an additional card, and it was interesting. There was kind of like almost the exact opposite type of energy, the Nine of Cups. So this is a wish fulfillment. So we have the Page of Cups and the Nine of Cups in this bottom row. And so what that suggests to me is that if you go the conventional route, and maybe that's what the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands was all about, trying to impress somebody in the hopes of getting something. This is the old paradigm of like, well, and I'm not saying that you can't try to do a good job and that you don't want to have other people see that you're doing a good job. But that idea of trying to impress somebody is more, to me, that you're in this position where you have to constantly prove your worth. And that can get you into tricky ground. But that's something that is promoted, that can be the culture where you work. And you can just unconsciously accept that as just par for the course. When you begin to go with your heart, and that might involve, really tuning into yourself emotionally. If you are so in the mind, it might be something that is a rusty skill of yours because it's just a default position. But you know what? Once you start to really sit with yourself and do self-inquiry, you may begin to unravel some of that unnecessary detachment and get into your heart's desire, because the Nine of Cups is about satisfying that heart's desire. So like I said, March may be a time when this all takes place. So between now and then, what is it, Aquarius, that you need to make a decision about that can really feel good? Like you don't feel like you're possibly ruining your life. So that means trusting yourself, trusting your intuition. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, most of my readings are astrology based, but for me, that is a good thing. Please check out the link below. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. Take care. Bye.